This might be the most common question that I get asked. What if God brings him back? You're torn between hoping for a miracle, but also trying to surrender it to God. I've been there too, and I was shocked to realize that sometimes letting go is exactly what invites God to move. In this video, we're diving into hope versus surrender and how to know the difference if you're clinging to someone more than you're clinging to God. If we haven't met yet, I'm Amelia, and I help women navigate heartbreak in a God-honoring way and prepare their hearts for the love that God has for them. If that resonates, hit subscribe, and if you want to go deeper, I have a free breakup healing workshop that I've linked in the description box. What needs to be said first is that hope isn't wrong. It's a beautiful thing. But misplaced hope can set you up for a lot of disappointment, okay? Hoping in God is wonderful, but hoping in a relationship's outcome above God, above his timing, and above his will can leave you feeling discouraged and stuck. I was talking with a woman who I've known since childhood. She reached out after going through a breakup with her college boyfriend. She said that even though she knew the relationship wasn't pushing her closer to God, she still found herself deeply hoping that God would reconnect them someday. She didn't know if having hope at this stage was wrong, or if it could actually help or hinder her growth. And I share that because I think a lot of you can relate. Hope is meant to anchor you in God, not in a specific outcome. And when your hope is in the Lord, not in the relationship, it strengthens you no matter what happens. So you're like, okay, Amelia, but how do we move from hope in a relationship to hope in God? And that is the second point, which is surrendering doesn't mean you stop caring. I've said it before and I will say it again, that surrender is active. It's giving God permission to write your story however he chooses, even if it doesn't go the way that you had planned. I was terrified of breaking up with my ex-boyfriend who, spoiler alert, 4 years later, I'd marry him. That's a different story though. But back then we were dating apart from the Lord. I remember feeling like, God, I don't know how you're gonna do this, but you're gonna have to save me from myself. And that is the gospel in a nutshell. It wasn't easy, but it was the most purposeful breakup that I've ever experienced. Walking through it differently, not turning to alcohol or distractions, but leaning on God, allowed the Spirit to shift my emotions and my desires and my habits, even when it felt like they'd never changed. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge him and he will make straight your paths." That is what surrender looks like in action. So while you're waiting on God's timing, what can you actually do? That's the next point, because you can't control the relationship or the outcome or the person, but you can take responsibility for how you respond right now. Quick story, not about a breakup, but it's the same internal tug of war that we feel while waiting. So when I was pregnant with my twins, I was committed to having an unmedicated birth. Patience was not easy, especially in the last weeks of pregnancy. And toward the end, I stressed about how long it might go and how intense it would be, all the things for a first-time mom. And then a mentor kindly reminded me. She said, "Amelia, you can't control how it happens, but you can prepare for what you can control." And that shifted my focus, okay, away from the unknowns and toward preparation and toward working on what God has laid out in front of you. And some things that help during this time are to be around people who love God, create a healthy space for your heart to heal, and pour into your healing through journaling, through godly community, or spiritual growth that prepares you for what is next. This season isn't just some time filler that you have to wait out. It is what strengthens you and gets you ready for God's best. And when you shift like this, you go from anxiously waiting to peacefully surrendering to God and being able to step into the fullness of life that he came so that you might have right now, not when you get into the next relationship or get married. And if you want to go deeper into learning how to patiently surrender to God in a season after your breakup, I go deeper into that in my breakup healing workshop in the description box. So if you've been asking, what if God brings him back? Remember, letting go isn't losing hope. It's giving God room to move. Let me know in the comments how you navigate hope versus surrender, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.